athlete. Yes, but you may be interested in preventing osteoporosis in your old age or preventing your bones from breaking when doing sports. Weightlifting can be beneficial for everyone. Muscles will help your appearance and confidence, will help your weight loss and strength gain, and will also prevent you from injuries when doing sports. What are you waiting for? Thank you so much for watching this video.
All right, guys. So, as you can see there's not just obviously the factor of, yes, obviously it makes you look good, but probably the two major points there that most people really don't understand is that, one, the more muscle you have, the more fat you can burn. Okay? Simple. Your BMR, if everybody who's ever had their bioscan or had your Tanita scan, it gives you a BMR. Your BMR is your basal metabolic rate or your basic metabolic rate. What that is that's actually how much muscle you actually have on your entire body. And that gives you an estimated BMR, okay? So the higher your BMR is, the more fat you can burn, guys. That just means the more muscle you have, and it just means you're going to be able to burn more and more fat. Simple. And by the way, when women get into weightlifting, a lot of them are like, well, I don't want to look like a man, or I don't want to look bigger and larger. What you need to understand, women also don't actually build muscle like men. They don't actually get as thick. They actually become more dense. So you don't get really bulky. You do become harder, and you look more toner. Okay, so you won't put on size like a lot of women think they're about what they're going to do when they lift weights. And by the way, the amount of actual weights you would have to lift for the amount of time and the amount of food and exercise you would have to do to even get to the point of what most people are like, oh, I don't want to look like that. Trust me, you're not going to get there. Don't worry. All right. That takes some serious dedication and hard work. So don't worry about that if you're like, I don't want to get too big when it comes to weightlifting. Weightlifting is very, very important. Now, the second point there, which he really points out, which I think is so important now, is bone density. Doing weights is going to increase your muscles, which is going to carry, obviously it means your muscles are going to be heavier. So it means your tendons have to take up the weight, so it has to become stronger. And that means your bone has to take up all the weight from the tendons and the muscle, so it actually becomes more dense. So by having that muscle from weightlifting, you're actually going to increase your bone density. So this is also very important as we, age, and a lot of us start to sort of lack off the exercise, and their bones become less dense due to other things as well. But so it's very important as we age that an appropriate weightlifting program is very important for everyone. All right, guys. So I'm going to go to if there's any chat, and there's no questions so far. So everybody knows everything about weightlifting, and so everybody's all good. Is that correct? Guys, I want you to either ask any questions. I was hoping we would have questions and we could just go from one to the other and ask and move along. Guys, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. Don't be afraid to ask. At this point, it's open to anything about weightlifting, anything about your building muscle. Please ask any questions about that. Here we go. How many times per week should I train? Thank you, Tracy, for actually putting up a question. So this puts us in a good direction, guys. If you are brand new to lifting weights, my suggestion would first of all start out by only doing about 2 to 3 sort of weight program sessions a week. Now, and I would split that up. You're going to do a full body split because you want to work your entire body over the week. Okay, all right. You want to give it enough time. You're going to work your entire body. So I would suggest you do about 2 to 3 muscle groups max, okay, per actual workout. So if you do 2 to 3 workouts per week, we break the muscle groups into basically your biceps, triceps, shoulders, back, chest, and legs. Now, legs alone, especially for women, you could also break that down into each different, a full different category on its own, okay? So it's very important that you would break that down. You might want to say, okay, I might want to do back, buys, and calves one day, chest, tries, and quads another day, and then the rest on the other day, okay? So that might be a way to split it, but I would suggest 2 to 3 workouts of weightlifting a week and splitting that into about 2 to 3 actual muscle groups each time. As you progress, you would eventually get to, about 5 to 6 if you're really getting serious, okay? And you would then do 1 muscle group per week, per session, okay? 1 to 2 max, okay? All right, going through some of the other questions here. For women, what's the appropriate way for lifting weights? Would you do more reps and lighter work? Okay, very good question. This is one's very common, and I think it's very, very important. I would suggest it definitely depends on what you're trying to achieve. But if you're trying to achieve more muscle, which is burning more fat, higher bone density, you want to do one thing. First of all, I would suggest if you are starting out and you're at a gym, I would suggest doing mostly cable work and any of the actual machines. Stick to the machines and cables because they're designed in a way that you really can't stuff up, okay? Well, you can. Trust me, you can. All right, so definitely get into cables and machines first and actually progress and then move into free weights, which is better for you. But if you start with free weights, your technique and performance might not be where it needs to be, and it could cause injury. So it is an area where you want to be careful. Now, when it comes to actually the type of weight and how many, now I would suggest about minimum of 3 reps per exercise, and you want to do about 8 to 12 if you're trying to increase muscle. So 8 to 12 reps, 8 to 12 reps of 3 sets. So what I mean by that, and you need to be maxing out. You need to put so much weight that you are maxing out before you hit 12. You want to be like 11 and then or 10, 11, and you can't do 12. If you're doing 12, it's probably not heavy enough. If you're doing 12, go heavier. If you can't get to 8, go a little bit lighter. So 8 to 12, but realistically, around that 10 mark and 3 sets is a good basis, and that's what you want to be doing. All right? For women, what's the appropriate weight? And Scott asked, do you lose muscle if you do too much cardio? Yes, absolutely. And especially at different times, if you haven't given your body the appropriate food to play along, it becomes very complicated, and it has multiple scenarios. But cardio, well, yeah, what people don't realize is that different types of cardio will do different types of things. By having your heart rate at a certain level, it's going to increase. It'll start working at burning your fat. But if you don't get to that, if it's at a different level, it'll burn into your muscle. Most people, when they do cardio, I'll tell you right now, they don't get the fat burning zone right, and they actually start burning their muscle. So I guarantee you that's what you're doing. And then, of course, you're burning muscle. You're not giving yourself a time to then, you're not building muscle, which means you're not burning as much fat, and it's a waste of actually doing the weights. So that's very important. And I'm going to take that note down. What I'm going to do, guys, is because I'm going to have it for another about 5 minutes on this subject, and then I'm going to be moving into the Mindset Academy. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these notes, which I think are very important, some of these questions, and what we might do is we might do a part 2 of weight training, and I can just go into that next week, including what types of cardio and that. Is that something people would be interested in? Just nod if yes, no if no. As an older woman, I'm naturally losing muscle mass. I don't want to build muscle. I just want to maintain what I have, what suits me best. Yeah, correct. So, independent on what you are. Karen, by the way, Karen has a vast knowledge of what she wants to do and where she is and where she's sitting at. Most people don't. Most people don't know where they are and if they're at an appropriate muscle level. Guys, the first thing I would suggest doing is actually getting on a Tanita or BioScan with your coach and looking at your muscle percentage for your body. Because that'll tell you whether you're at an appropriate level or you need to increase. Okay? Those body scans are so important because that'll set the standard of what you need to do. So absolutely. And when it comes to maintenance, that's a whole new ball game. Maintenance is so much easier. Once you build the muscle, it's so much easier to maintain. Most of it will come from dieting and then just regularly staying on top of your exercise. In comparison to when you're trying to build muscle, it takes a lot more work to build muscle in comparison to maintaining it. So good question there. What type of food should I be eating before a workout to help me build muscle? Protein. Protein, carbohydrates, and that's very important prior. So, there's a few ones obviously I would suggest is one of our meal replacement shakes, a good prior, because it's going to give you a good amount of carbohydrates and protein and some good vitamins and minerals to help support you throughout your workout. It is important to make sure you're going into a workout with a good level of carbohydrates and protein. Otherwise, when you start your workout, that movement and all that exercise, you might be burning muscle. Because if you haven't given your body the appropriate protein levels, well, it's going to go to your body to your protein to actually use that. So very, very important to make sure you're setting yourself up throughout the day. And that comes through your nutrient timings, guys. Eating every 2 to 3 hours, having protein in every snack, every meal. That's going to make sure when you do your workout, you're going to have 10 times more energy and your protein levels are going to be good. You're not going to lose muscle. You're going to increase. Okay, so very, very important. I'll take this last question. What type of, oh, no, we just said that. Muscle building. Oh, hang on. What type of food should we be eating before a workout to help building muscle? Oh, no. What's your thoughts on having peanuts as a snack? What a lot of people don't get is when it comes to a lot of the nuts, everyone's like, oh, nuts is a good protein snack. Yeah, it's a good protein snack, but it's actually not giving you an efficient amount. The amount of protein that you'd get from like a handful of nuts is like 5, maybe 7 grams, maybe, of protein. Where, as we know, if you've done your wellness evaluation, if you sat down with your coach, as we know by now then, you need to have about 10 to 15 grams of protein per snack and about 20 to 30 per meal. And that's just the average person. That's women. That's like people at a very slim level. Most people who are males and at a higher level will need a higher amount of protein. And guys, I'm going to harp on it again more and more as we go, but protein's so important, and getting that right, not just through your workout and post-recovery, but actually throughout the entire day. All right, guys, if there's any more questions on that, what I'd like to do is that you can place it in the comment box, and I'll copy and paste it, and I'll take some of those questions, and we'll start them, and we'll do part 2 of weight training next Wednesday for the PTO. But tonight, guys, I want to now introduce our special guest speaker for our Mindset Academy. All the way from, I'm not too sure where she is at the moment, from Beenleigh Fit Club or Gold Coast, Coomera, wherever she is at now, I do not know. Jade Bilby, welcome, Jade. Let's all give her a clap, guys. I'll unmute you guys. Give her a clap, guys.
Oh, God.
Jade, I'll unmute you. Yeah, very good. All right, Jade, tell us, what do you have for us this evening? Let's hear it. I'm excited to hear your Mindset Academy.
I'm pretty excited to do this. I actually asked if I could do this because I'm pretty passionate about what I do, and sometimes we don't get a chance to share our stories, and that's what I really like to do. Tonight, I'm going to go through a little bit of where I started, how I started. Mine's a little bit different from most people. And then how I was able to get through that with some simple techniques that I was actually able to use every day, and a little bit of a motivation, guys, to get you guys to realize that there's a little bit more to it. So I'm just going to go straight into it. Guys, hopefully if you have some notes that you guys, if you have pen and paper, I suggest pull it out, take some notes if you can, just so that you get something away from it. Because I know what I used to do when I used to go on calls is I just listen, which is completely fine. But if you want to remember and recap on something, you need to have something to refer back to. And I can guarantee you, after a nap, you're not going to remember much. So I'm Jade. Hopefully you know that by now. I am at Beenleigh. We just finished a session. But before we started doing that, I really wasn't interested in health and fitness. Reason being is because before I looked at doing it, I had a very unhealthy perspective of myself. It wasn't pretty, and it wasn't good, and it wasn't something sustainable. I basically struggled with my self-image throughout the entire high school. I can blame a lot of things. I can blame social media. I could blame basically the partner I was with at the stage. I could blame a lot of things, but realistically, I come across as a very confident person. If you've met me, I apologize. But also, if you haven't and you've heard, I'm very in people's face, and that's how I've always been. So when I even spoke to my mum about this, about that I actually had basically an eating disorder where I would be vomiting up food, I wouldn't eat, I'd binge. She was so surprised. She had no idea, because I had this front where I put up and I'm like, I'm fine. I don't need help. I don't need this. So when I spoke to people about it, they were like, what? So that's my first point, guys, is that you never know what someone's going through. You never know the journey that you need to start on. It might be whatever it might be, but sometimes it's just about starting. For me, it was a lot harder. My ingrained issues weren't going to be solved in 2 days, in 2 weeks. It's taken me years. It's really, and a lot of it was done by myself, but taking the techniques I've learned from other calls by myself, because I'm a stubborn person. If you know me, I don't take advice lightly. I take it very hard, and it takes me a while to implement. So guys, that's what I want you guys to have a think about, is realistically, like, what are you getting out of this? Yes, you come on and I might have said, hey, come on, listen to me, be my friend. But what are you actually going to take away from this? If my issues don't relate to you, that's fine. But some of the points that I bring up might be able to affect you in other areas where you could implement it. So how I basically got through it, it wasn't easy. I went through a lot of depression about myself. I'm very similar to my mom. We go through a lot of the same issues, but mine was just, I had no self-confidence in myself for a confident person. I had no belief in myself before this. So I was 19, 20 when I first started this, and I was empty. I really was. I had nothing. I had a beautiful partner. I have a beautiful family. I have an amazing support community around me. Like, what was wrong? It was nothing around me. It was myself. I had growing to do, but I just felt disjointed. I felt like nothing was lining up. Nothing I wanted to do was, and I was very lost, and I was very lost in myself. So when these calls are on and when I'm doing personal development, I take it extremely, extremely seriously, because that is literally what has pulled me through some pretty terrible times. Sometimes when I'm just like, I am not enough, but sometimes I just put on that PD. I listen to it, guys. And that's what's really helped me. And the little things that I have taken out of this are very, very simple. My steps are not technical. They're not hard, because if they're technical and hard, I don't get it. I don't understand it. So I like simple, easy stuff that I can do every single day. But guys, what I want you to remember is that what I learned is, before this, I didn't really know people very well. I wouldn't get to know people. I'd go face value, and that's what I get a lot of the time. People look at me and go, she's loud, she's tall, she's blonde, she's thin, that's her. That's what I always get, and they don't think anything's ever gone wrong for me. They think I just had this perfect life, when realistically, like, that's what I really zone into with people now, because I know there's so much more to people than what people put on a show, because that's all people are. Bo's a show, I'm a show. That's what we put up, and it looks nice, but sometimes there's more going on. And that's the thing. People are always working at yourself. And this is what I want you guys to write down. What are you working on to be a better person than you were yesterday? What are you working on? Because I hate to tell you, none of you are Beyonce. You've always got to work on something. Something can always be better. Something can always, you can either, I don't care what it is, your abs, your mind, your family, you've got a bad habit, break it. But do something about it, because that's what I want to focus this about. My quote that I love, my team know it: you are not a tree, you can move. But the funny thing about a tree, it grows to its full potential, yet it doesn't even move. We as human beings, I don't know if you guys actually know the odds of becoming a human being is ridiculous. This is what pulled me out of my little funk or poor me state. Basically, it's millions and billions of something. I don't know the odds. Don't ask me a specific number. But the odds of becoming a human being is ridiculous. We have the privilege, yes, it's a privilege to be a human being, to be alive, to be breathing, to be moving. You have choice. But very few of us grow into our ultimate being because, one, we have choice to be lazy. We have that choice to go get Hungry Jacks instead of making a nice, basically, chicken with some veggies. We have the choice to sit on the couch all weekend instead of going outside. We have the choice to be a horrible person. We have the choice I had the choice to be a little depressed person. I had that choice. And because I wasn't seeking help, I chose that. And that was my choice. I'm not saying people choose that and stay that way, but to be that way and not seek help for me, I chose that because I was too stubborn for myself to go, hey, Jade, you need to do something. Does that make sense? I only can see a couple. If you can nod, that'd be great. But if you're in a state, I understand it's shit. It really is. It's the worst. You feel like no one's there for you. And I had a loving partner. I have a loving family who I know would do anything for me, but I was just stubborn and I chose to be in that state because I felt as though that's the way it is. And as human beings, sometimes to say we're not perfect, like, it's a big thing. So that's what I want you guys to focus on. You are more than a tree. You can grow to your full potential, but unlike a tree, it can't move. It can't be anything else but a tree. You, as a human being, you can be whatever the hell you like. You can be a garbage man. If you're happy, do it. You could be a SEAL instructor. You're happy, you do it. You could be what I do, and it's a lifestyle coach, and I help thousands of people transform their lives. Hell yeah, I'm going to do it. This is what I want you guys to focus on. Be more than what you are now. Because that's what you guys need to do. What are you doing to move forward? What was I doing? Not a hell of a lot. Complaining, being sad, binge eating, then eating nothing. I wasn't doing anything to push myself forward. I was settling. And that's what I thought I was meant to do. I was meant to settle, stay still, and I was just going to get by with my boring life. I was going to go to work 9 to 5 for the rest of my life and then die. Because that's what a lot of the population does. They just go to work and die because that's what they are. I wanted more. I realized when I came down to Fit Club, I wanted more. I wanted to be more. And I had a vehicle to finally do that. Every single person on this call is, one, you're doing the challenge. You can be more. You can do more for this challenge. Just because the weekend's coming up doesn't mean, oh, you know what's a weekend? I'm just going to give up. No, it's 4 weeks out of the entire year. We can do this. You can knuckle down. You can make that decision like I did. It's not easy. I'm not saying this is going to be easy. I'm not going to say you drive past Hungry Jacks and go, nope, Jade said I'm not a tree. I'm going to drive past. It's going to be hard. But when you make that decision, I can guarantee you are more than likely going to succeed than you would if you just go, nah, it's the weekend, I'm good. If you have some similar struggles to me, the way to change it, reach out to someone. You know my story. My story is not I've lost 100 kilos. My story is not I've gained 1 million pounds of muscle. My story is that I've changed my life. It saved me, and it really did. And to say that at the age of 22, to say I found something I am deadly passionate about, I am now part of an amazing family. I now have a passion to be healthy, to be a full individual. I can't tell you how lucky we are to have that, and I can't tell you how many people will never experience that. Because that's what I want you guys to have a think about. The next thing is, if you are in a shit situation, if you guys are and literally you're going, oh my God, I'm in a terrible situation, I can't move, I'm not going to be doing this, I'm not self-motivated. That is why we have this community. Hold on to it. If all you want to do is eat bad food, do it, but you know you've got that community who will go give you different options. That is what got me through sometimes. I have literally sat there going, is everything worth it? And I go see someone in this community and they lift me up again. You don't get there at anywhere else. And this challenge is free, by the way. You go down to a gym, you go to a PT, they won't care. You come to your coach who gives you so much value, that you don't even realize, nor half the people sometimes even appreciate. I know I take granted people in the team. I know I take granted Bo half the time. And that's the thing. You guys need to realize what you have in your hand. What you're not paying for is the value that you're getting, that you're not going to get anywhere else. What I want you guys to take full responsibility is your situation. If you are in that situation, you are there for a reason. If you are like me, and you had a disorder, you were basically depressed and you felt like you had no one there, you were in there for a reason. Guarantee you. I was in that reason because I was a shitty, bitchy person. I was a very good teenager private school girl. I took that role very literally. I was in there for a reason. I needed to grow. I don't know many 22-year-olds know that can speak with this much conviction about how much they've changed in 2 years. It's been like not even 2 years. If you are overweight, you are there for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Think about this. If you are 15, 20, 100 kilos, if JK was 18 kilos overweight, if you're overweight, think about this. You lost that weight, you stayed dedicated to your goals, and then you use that to inspire people and you saved people's lives. It's weird to think about that, but think about it other than yourself. I always think about if I hadn't done this, if Jake and I had not got out of bed and said, nah, we're not going, I don't know, we would never have met one half the beautiful people that are on this call. And secondly, I don't care what people say, Ange will always be our best result. We literally saved someone's life. She lost 58 kilos in 4.5 months. I don't care about my thing. I don't care. If I was still the same, I wouldn't care. I literally saved someone from dying, from having a heart attack, having a stroke. I've given one of my best friends now, Georgia, a new family, a supportive family to be a part of, where she didn't have before. No one can take that away. And that's what I want you guys to have to think about. If you're like me, your story is going to inspire someone else, indirectly, directly. Take that with you. If you're trying to lose weight, take that with you. It's not going to be easy. Guarantee it's not. You can drive down the street and there's $5 meals and you get chips, drink, and a burger. But who are you helping with that? McDonald's? Who else? You're not helping your family. You're not helping people around you. And you're certainly not helping feed your future. You have one body, you have one vehicle, and I treasure mine now. I didn't care about mine. I was like, nah. I love my body. And for a young female to say they genuinely love their body, for me, that is incredible. I don't care what people say. People will say anything about you. And that's the funny thing. I heard this one day and I was like, this is so true, because I used to do this. If you don't want to do anything in your life, if you don't want anyone to say anything negative about you, whether it be starting a Herbalife program, whether it be joining the Fit Club, if you don't want anyone saying anything negative about you, never do anything exciting. Never do anything new. Because people are going to talk. Prime example, before I started this journey, this is how much of a horrible person I was. I literally sat there. I saw one of my good friends, she was going traveling, and I had an hour conversation with one of my friends talking about, oh, how can she afford going and traveling? How can she do this? Blah, blah. The girl was going traveling and we were talking bad about her, talking about this. Does that make sense? People are always going to find something, no matter what you do, something negative about it. And how you handle that is going to be the difference between you succeeding at your goals and failing because someone has a slight opinion. Who cares? That's what I had to learn. I still take things very personally, but why? If someone's got something negative to say about you, someone's going to say something negative about how I speak, someone's going to say something negative about how I act, I always refine myself, but I don't change how I do things very rarely because it's opinion of us. Just brush it off. You've got to focus on your goal and why you're doing this. You started this challenge for a reason. You started being an ambassador for a reason. You started being a coach for a reason. If you've forgotten that reason, and for a while I did, find it. Find that reason to keep going when it's tough, because it's not always pretty. Losing weight, being an ambassador, being a coach is not always easy. And for me, it was, sometimes I was like, why? But when I see my coaches get excited about they've helped a client lose a couple of kilos, they've found an ambassador who've inspired their family and friends to lose weight, that is why. Why you guys are going to be excited is because you don't even know that your result is going to impact so many people. And that is amazing. Guys, and that's the last thing that is what I'm going to talk about next is your legacy. This is what pushes me when I don't even want to be pushed. When Bo tries to push me, I'm like, no. What I want you guys to focus on is what is being left behind for you to be remembered by. I don't know if you guys know the song Glorious by Macklemore. If you actually listen to the lyrics, it's phenomenal. You need to listen to it and what it says. He says, you die twice. First when they put you in your grave, and the second is when the last person mentions your name. When is the last time someone's going to mention your name? Is it going to be, she was a loving wife, and then your children remember you and that's where it stops? Is it going to be, I was a teacher and my students remembered me, but realistically they'll forget you in a couple of years and it stops? Or are you going to find something that is going to be so inspiring that no one can forget it? If someone can't forget your name, it means you've impacted thousands. Whether you like it or not, losing weight, changing a journey, being involved in a club, you'll have hundreds of people to remember you by. And for that is ridiculous. I think it is amazing. If you can't figure out, I don't know if that's inspiring some people, but I know that's what keeps me going sometimes, knowing that I don't want to be remembered because I went to uni and I had a beautiful partner. I'm sorry, but that's not enough just for me. My job is that with the position that I'm in, I can't be selfish and go back to my old ways because it's easy. It is so easy to return how I was, and sometimes I do, because that's an internal thing, and that is so hard to fix. It's so easy to go sit on the couch. I understand. What's hard, but what's beautiful at the end is when you push through that and you go, no, not this time. Not this time am I going to sit on the couch. Not this time am I going to give up my goal. Not this time am I going to stop losing weight. And not this time am I going to sit there and go, nah, not for me. This time I'm taking it so seriously that nothing's stopping me. That I don't care what Auntie Mildred says in the background that's going to stop me from hitting my goal. I'm not going to care if someone goes, Jade, you're doing Herbalife and it's stupid. I don't give a shit. I don't. Because the reason of why I'm doing this is so much more than me. It's not for me. If I was doing this for me, I could stop. I'm very happy. I have a beautiful partner. I don't need that. What needs me now is the coaches that I have that have their vision and they're looking to me to do something else. You're losing weight and you have a family. Unfortunately, they're looking to you for guidance. You might not know it yet. But don't be that reason because it gets a little bit hard. Really? Life is hard if you're not in Australia. That's what's hard. Hard's different countries where you can't get water. That's hard. I use this example with my team. You got a problem? Have you eaten today? That's hard. What's not hard is smashing your resolve. What's not hard is pulling yourself out of a shit situation and not dwelling in it. What's not hard is sticking at a 4-week challenge. That's not hard. It's easy not to do. It's very easy. I want you guys to write it down. I want you guys to write down in big bold letters. I'm looking at some people. What is my legacy? What is my legacy? If you have no idea what your legacy is, you've got some time to work it out. But I genuinely want people to have a think about, if you're a tree at the moment, you're standing still. I just want you guys to compare yourself to a tree for a minute. Does it not kind of annoy you that to think about it, that a tree grows to its full potential, yet we don't because we let things interfere with us? It's mind-blowing. So guys, have a think, 2 minutes, what your legacy is going to be, And if you don't have a legacy, if you don't think you have one as big as a passion as mine where I just yelled at you, have a think about what it can do for your family. Have a think about the legacy that you're going to leave and the description of you that you're going to leave. Are you going to be the person that's going to be remembered for quitting? Are you going to be that person that starts and never finishes? Or are you going to be that person this time, like me? I could have quit, but I didn't. I want you guys to think about that extremely seriously. And I take my job very seriously. If you know someone, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, you know someone that is going through either depression, they're going through, they lose their friends. That's a whole nother story for me. If they're losing friends, they're going through depression, or they're going through some sort of either disorder, or they are basically struggling, you put them in contact with me. You put them in contact with someone who knows me, and I will gladly sit down with them. That's how serious I take it. I don't care if they're in my team. I don't care what club they go to. That is a passion of mine. All right, guys. So I expect everyone who's on this call to send me or send it or post on Facebook, my legacy is. I can guarantee you people are going to think you're weird, but now it's in the public eye and I can see it. All right, guys, that is my piece. I appreciate you all very much for listening to me rant for you for about half an hour. Thank you so much. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can find me on Facebook. My name's there. And honestly, thank you guys. I appreciate you all. And guess what? Beatley gonna win!
They're not. They're not. All right, Jade, before you leave, Jade, don't actually leave yet. Stay right there. Guys, I just want to finish off, and I'm going to unmute you all in a second, and you're all going to give Jade a big cheer. But I just wanted to go over a couple of notes that I got from that, and maybe, again, make sure you did take some notes. A couple of things for me was that making sure that you're surrounding yourself around people that are going to support you along your journey, okay? Because that's really going to help. Surround yourself around like-minded people. People in the challenge, people at the clubs, online or in the house, it doesn't matter. Make sure you're surrounding yourself around people that are going to help you on your journey. 2 was make sure you're starting the day right. And this is so, so important. You don't understand. When you start your day, make sure you're listening to some type of, like a personal development or some motivation. Make sure for me, you got to make it simple as possible, right? I'll have some headphones, and on my iPhone next to my bed. Before I even get out of bed, before I look at my phone, as in like Facebook or anything like that, I'll put it in and I will chuck on YouTube motivation, or if any speakers I like to listen to. Try listening to that for 5 minutes and not getting up going, yeah! Like, there's no way you're not going to start the day like just kicking ass. All right. The third thing was that if you're not going to get the results for yourself, get it for everyone else. Get it for the people that you can inspire. If so far, like your own result for you is not like a big enough reason, you're like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm kind of comfortable. I know I want to be a little bit healthier. Then fine. Do it for your friends. Do it for your family. Do it for your kids. Do it for your partner. Do it for the person that you don't even know, but you walk down the street each day, and when she sees you drop 5, 10, 15, 20 kilos, you've just inspired her to make change. Do it for them, guys. And lastly, absolutely, and I get this a lot. Oh my God, does they go, does Herbalife work? No, it doesn't. But if you use it, it will actually work. If you use the people that are going to support you around you, it'll work. If you actually go to the workouts, if you attend the mindset and educational seminars, and if you put it all into place, it'll work. It is not a miracle, but what we're developing here is an all-in-one program, so we can give you everything from all aspects, and then if you apply, it'll work. That's it for us, guys. Let's give Jade a big round of applause. I'm going to unmute her now. Hold on, Jade. And, if you have any more questions, guys, I'll be uploading this video to the page, and you can ask more questions there. All right, guys. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming on, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday, if not before then. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.